All right. Let's try this again. Part 3. We are doing. Look. This is a gritty. This is a gritty effort this morning. If I'm going to be honest, this is. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna just leave it at that. There's a lot going on. There is, we're looking to have everything be the right way, and we're gonna try to have what we want on the screen. Try to feature comments for everybody watching. I appreciate everybody working through this. So I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie because I just want to. Let's see. Is it the third time the charm, Frank? Third time's the charm, baby. We're back. Okay, we're back. Oh, baby, we are back. All right. Now, week 9, we are good. All right, let's go. All right, now, so there is a lot to discuss. We are good. I'm not gonna lie, your boy was stressing there, but we're 100% all the way back. So within the week 9 recap here. By the way, I'm just gonna ask this just at the beginning. I might ask in like 5 minutes, but if you guys could like the stream. To help out, this is 100% on me. It's all about accountability. I would very much appreciate you liking the stream because it was on me to begin with. But anyway, I do appreciate the support. Appreciate everybody being in here. Hopefully you're having a great Monday. And all right, let's just go ahead and dive in. So within the week 9 recap, or within some of this, I want to start with the Bears game. And this was a game for Chicago where this was very much a game that I really think last year the Bears lose this game. They were up 41-27 with 2 minutes to play. And then, the Bengals, they get a touchdown, they get the onside kick, and then it was looking really bad. And then Colston Loveland, they finally use him. Who would have thought that Colston Loveland is actually a good football player? And Colston Loveland goes for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, and for the Bears to win this game the way they did, to me, I think they are one of the biggest winners from Week 9. Now, like I said, they're the biggest winners and losers from Week 9. That video will be out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. The problem's not the right word, but one of the things that I do want to break down within this is, or within the Week 9 winners and losers, is there are going to be a lot of winners from Week 9. And within that video tomorrow, there's probably 8 or 9 winners that you could think of just right off the bat. And Sam Darnold last night, tremendous job with the 16 for 16, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns in the first half. Then you look at the Broncos winning 6 straight games to improve to 7-2, and the Broncos and Chargers both winning yesterday. To be able to also have the Chiefs lose Broncos and Chargers are also winners from this week, by the way. Shout out to comment. Appreciate it from meh. Appreciate it. Jared, I'm going to be honest, I did not see a super chat, but I'll get to all. I promise I'll address all comments in a minute. But then you can go to the 49ers for improving to 6-3 because they've obviously been dealt a very difficult hand, all things considered. They've been dealt injuries after injury after injury, and for them to improve to 6-3 yesterday, I think that would also make them big winners. Then you have to look at the Panthers yesterday going into Lambeau, 16-13. Rico Dowdle over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had quite the touchdown celebration. Not sure if you guys saw that, but there was and then you look at the Steelers defense, like we said in the first stream that we had this morning. 6 turnovers, and you have a backs against the wall type game. Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and this was the game that I thought they could have had against the Packers in Week 8. Ultimately, Jordan Love diced them up, but then you have the Steelers as big winners. I think you also have to include the Vikings as big winners for going on the road to Detroit in a game that, I'll be honest, I did not think that they were. I didn't think they had a chance. I didn't think they had a chance. And then for Jahmyr Gibbs in 2 games last year against Minnesota to have, this will actually be discussed in the video tomorrow, but 330 total yards and 6 touchdowns against Minnesota in 2 games last year. He had 28 total yards in Week 9. So I think you have to include, I know people are going to say like Vikings fan bias, whatever, but J.J. McCarthy had 3 total touchdowns. I thought the Vikings played well, all things considered. The defensive energy yesterday for Minnesota was there. So the point is what I'm saying here with all of this is whenever we have the the week 9 winners and losers tomorrow, guys, there's a lot to be discussed. I mean, there's, like we said, Sam Darnold, the Seahawks, Caleb Williams, Broncos, Chargers, 49ers, the Rams, and Matt Stafford, by the way, who 4 touchdowns yesterday, 21-2 touchdown to interception ratio on the year. The Panthers, the Steelers defense, the Vikings. It's going to be tough, man. Also agree, RM56 wasn't sure why people gave up on JJ so fast. He had one poor game, then got injured. Not a big sample size. That was one to me as well. I didn't understand that one. Let's see here. Jay, appreciate super chat. An old family friend of ours passed away this past summer. Lifelong Washington fan. Almost glad he wasn't here to see that. So rest in peace to your family friend. And I'll be honest, this was my biggest fear for the Commanders this year. And we discussed it within the weekly recap for... we didn't discuss this in the weekly recap. We discussed this in the season preview for the Commanders, where I really thought there was I thought they were going to regress, and I didn't think the way they played against the Bucs last year and the Lions, when both games mattered most, you have to credit where it's due. I mean, those were games that the Commanders fan base had been looking forward to for years. I mean, they hadn't won a playoff game in nearly 20 years. The last time they did was back in 2005, but I didn't think that was going to be sustainable. And then you go out and trade for Laramie Tunsil and Marshawn Lattimore and Debo, and you bring in all these old guys who, I mean, I think we can all acknowledge best days are behind them. So, and then last night, by the way, I'm not I don't like to, I feel like at times I'm a little critical of people with things, but last night you're down 38-7 with less than 8 minutes left in the game, and Jaden Daniels dislocates his elbow. That's I mean, there's no reason for him to be in the game to begin with. That was a horrendous decision for. I mean, this game was. I mean, it was over at half. If you want to be completely honest, the Commanders were not going to come back, but you don't give up at half. Obviously, you don't just say, "Oh, we're down 31-7. We're just going to toss in the towel." So it wouldn't have made sense to take Jaden Daniels out at half. But entering the fourth quarter, or on one of the final plays of the third quarter, I had a thought within this that there was a play where Jaden Daniels was sacked and he was thrown down kind of hard. I don't know if you guys remember that play. Obviously, that play is not going to be brought up a lot, obviously, with what happened. But there was a play, it was right at the end of the third quarter. It was one of those plays where he's kind of fighting still up, and then they really it wasn't like body weight on top of him, but it was a hard hit. It was a hard toss to the ground. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is their second-year franchise quarterback. This season's, I mean, it's lost for Washington. I don't know if Commanders fans would have acknowledged that prior to last night, but it's lost, or it was lost already. And I would have just said after 3 quarters, look, just get him out. And I hate that. I hate everything about it. I hate everything about it. And I almost tweeted in all caps last night, why the duck was Jaden Daniels in that game to begin with? So I don't know, man. It was over after the first quarter. Honestly, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's see here. I wouldn't disagree with this, to be completely honest with you, Mark. I wouldn't disagree. Tyler, appreciate super chat. And he says, how do you feel about Daniel Jones after that game? So, appreciate super chat, Tyler. And the thing with Daniel Jones is, yesterday, I would say was the first day where DJ looked kind of bad. There was a stat that Ben Solak of ESPN tweeted out where the Daniel Jones pressure to sack ratio in the first 7 weeks was 12% or less. And what that means is if you're under, pressure to sack ratio, it's how often you're under pressure and then how often you take sacks within those, said plays, right? But within the past 2 weeks, it went from 12% or something really low to 29% in week 8 and then 35% yesterday. So this was the game that the Daniel Jones crowd that has been waiting for him to come back down to earth. That was the game yesterday. Now, the thing is, I'm not going to go out and say that, hey, the Colts are done. The Daniel Jones insanity run is over. I think that would be a little overreactive and a little. That's just I don't want to go down that road, if you will, right? At least give it more time. I don't think now would be the time to have that type of reaction. But it was not a good game for Daniel Jones yesterday, and it showed. I mean, he was sacked multiple times. He threw a couple of interceptions, and it was not pretty. But I think for the Daniel Jones crowd that has been waiting for him to have a bad game, that was going to be the game yesterday, and there's going to be people that take victory laps over it, and you have to wait and see how everything plays out. I mean, the Colts offense in the first 8 weeks of the year was it was on a different level, man. So we'll see. All right, let's keep it going here. Here's a question. Hey, Garrett, do you think the Saints will win a road game this year? I want to take a look at the remainder of their road schedule. So the Saints yesterday, Nick Underhill does he is a big Saints, you cover the Saints. Nick Underhill knows everything about the Saints, right? He tweeted yesterday that the Saints' 16 minutes time of possession was the 13th lowest in NFL history. And their remaining road games, they have at Carolina. Based on how the Panthers play at home, I would probably say that's a loss. Then they have at Miami, at Tampa, at Tennessee, and at Atlanta. I mean, dude, with the Falcons, the thing is with the Falcons, you never know. I mean, you really never know. Now, the Saints have not played the Falcons yet this year, so we don't know Kellen Moore versus Raheem Morris, how that's going to play out. But the Saints obviously, and here's a comment right here from Frank. Don't go too hard on us. It's rough out here. I mean, they know. I mean, it's a rebuilding season. Rebuilding seasons are what they are. But if the Saints, we'll see. I don't know. If I had to definitively predict if they're going to win one, I would like to think that they'll win one of the remaining 5, yes. So I would say that. Mike, appreciate Super Chat. Appreciate it. And Mike, I'm not sure. I saw a couple comments here. Mike said, as a Titans fan, here we go. As a Titans fan, I'm looking forward to next season with the amount of draft capital we have, as well as cap space, as well as the opportunity to have Joe Brady. Might be delusional, though. Honestly, I mean, you have Cam Ward. You have Jeffrey Simmons. It's kind of tough to try and justify it after that. But one of the things that's always going to with the Titans, what's going to kind of hold me back from buying in is the ownership. That's going to be the biggest thing with the Titans. Now, there are a couple of comments or a couple of games that I really want to dive into. I'll discuss the Jalen Phillips trade here in a minute. But I want to go into a couple of more things. Rico Dowdle, big winner. The Buffalo Bills, obviously very big winners. The Jags, I would also say, were big winners, all things considered, because there was a point in the game yesterday where it was like no... Travis Hunter's obviously on IR, so they weren't going to have him, and Brenton Strange was also out, but Brian Thomas left the game, so it was like no Travis, no Brian Thomas, no Brenton Strange, like we said, no De'Ami Brown. I mean, they were down to skin and bones at one point within that game. So, and here's a question from Johnny. What player position should the Jags trade for? I mean, you already traded for a corner. I'm going to ask this, and I'm just thinking out loud. Would it be bad to trade, and I'm talking, it would be a low round pick. It would be like a 6th for 7th swap, and I don't have a player on the top of my mind to think of here, but would it be bad to trade for another receiver just for depth at this point? And I'm just thinking out loud there. But anyway, Joseph, appreciate the super chat. He says, with how great the Bills' pass rush was yesterday and the season-ending injuries to their 2 best pass rushers, D-line is a bigger need than wide receiver for trade. Definitely. Michael Hoyt going down for the year was awful. That sucked. And, I mean, look, yesterday was a prime example for Buffalo, and it's unfortunate that, players went down, but it was a prime example of if you can get after, Patrick Mahomes, you can get after any quarterback, a pass rush is going to negate a lot of other issues. So the thing is, though, is Jalen Phillips, I don't know if Miami would have actually traded him to Buffalo. I know that they can say what they want and it's hindsight. But does Buffalo go for somebody like Max Crosby? That doesn't seem like Brandon Beane. It doesn't seem like Brandon Beane to go for that aggressive of a trade. So we'll see here. We'll see, but I appreciate the super chat, Joseph. Appreciate the super chat. But I would agree with you that D-line is bigger than wide receiver. So, all right. I do want to go into a couple of other games here. The Texans the Texans offense with Nick Caley, very frustrating. And I do want to kind of talk about the play, the play where CJ Stroud was hurt. I didn't think it was a dirty play. When you slide that late, I'm not trying to, blame this like strictly on CJ Stroud. It's just, the speed of the game is what it is. There was nothing that Chris Abrams' drain really could have done. I don't think he went in there with bad intentions. It was unfortunate, obviously, but even with Davis Mills in there, obviously you're going to be limited with a backup quarterback, but the Texans do not have, they can't run the ball in short yardage situations. And we discussed this in the weekly recap. They had 1st and goal from the 2 area, and they ended up having like 4th and goal from the 23. And even within that, they had 2nd and goal from the 12. They had a running play. They're a very frustrating team. And I don't know what the answer for Houston is. I do think in some ways that the Houston Texans season is kind of over. Just because, you look at the Texans right now. It was yet another frustrating game, and the Texans are now 3-5, and they did have a good win against San Francisco. You definitely have to credit them for its due, but their other 2 wins are the Titans and the Ravens backups. I do not sit here with any confidence that they're definitively going to beat the Jags next week. Although, depending on how banged up the Jags are, I'd probably take the Texans. But then you have the Titans after that. That's winnable. But then you have the Bills, at the Colts, and at the Chiefs. And I think pretty quickly with the Texans, you'd be looking at potentially a 4-8 record. But we'll see. Let's see here. Wampe. I'm going Wampa because it's a job of the Hut. Wampa the Hut. Yeah. So Wampa, appreciate the super chat. What's up? Big fan from the UK. Opinion on my Bucks. Well, the biggest thing, and this is with a lot of teams, not just the Bucks, but I want them to get healthy. They had a big win last week, heading into their Week 9 bye, but I think these next 3 games for Tampa is going to be pretty telling. Just because you have home against the Bucks, at the Bills, and at the Rams. I don't think the Bucks are going to lose all 3. I think they can definitely beat the Patriots. But whether you are Tampa, whether you are the Titans, whoever, at the Bills and at the Rams in back-to-back weeks is brutal. And I do think that the Bucks would probably lose those games, just being completely honest. And I would argue that kind of makes this game against New England kind of a can't lose. So I would that's kind of where I stand on that. But if you guys are enjoying, please like the stream. It helps tremendously. We're at 73, so let's get it up to 100, and I appreciate everyone being in here. And we did have some technical difficulties today, but look, we're back. This is, as you can see, Week 9 recap part 3. We are back, and that is all that matters. Big 20 piece here from Sam. Appreciate the super chat, Sam. Thank you, sir. Haven't been this happy after a Vikes win since the Bills game 3 years ago. Skull forever. So, yeah, dude, look, J.J. McCarthy, oh, baby, was I excited. Yeah. You want me to be completely honest, put the homer hat on for a minute? I didn't think there was a chance this team was going to go in yesterday and beat the Lions. And then J.J. McCarthy goes in, 3 total touchdowns. The passing yards only at 143, but the special teams was awesome yesterday. Miles Price is tremendous kick returner. He's awesome on special teams. So for the Vikings to be able to have the game they had and to be able to bounce back, I'm gonna be honest. This was I was expecting like a 38-17 type game. Obviously, with the Lions winning, I was expecting Jahmyr Gibbs to have a Jahmyr Gibbs type day. And then, to go in and win, especially these out here. Let's see if we can work these out. I think we're back. I think we are. All right, I think we're back. Stream crashed. I think we're back. I think we're back. We're back. And but anyway, like I said, just awesome. I indeed was out here cheesing yesterday. No. I did not want to pin that comment. No. That's a bad comment, Johnny. Out here cheesing? 100%. 100%. Let's see here. Next says, look, man, Dan Quinn did a lot as coordinator for my Seahawks, but terrible head coach. Take Jaden out in the fourth. 100%. 100%. Yes. I mean, you, in that specific situation, you have to take him out. You have to take him out of that game. That was awful. And by the way, we're back. It's a Monday. I'm going to just leave it like that. It's a Monday. It is what it is. But I appreciate everyone being in here. And like I said, if you guys could like the stream, I would very much appreciate it. So let's keep it going here. Jalen January, appreciate the super chat. Big fan. How do we feel about New England? I have one thing to say. Drake May. Comment if you agree. I mean, look, Drake May. I love Drake May. Although I would argue Drake May, though he didn't have the best game yesterday, and not that Drake May played bad. It was more of whenever you have it's kind of like, I'm not going to compare Drake May to this player, at least like on a serious note. But whenever you have like a run, Linsanity is obviously the big one. I think Drake May will be here for 10 years. But whenever you have that 7 stretch game of 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and then the 100 passer rating and all of that, right? Whenever you have a normal game in a 17-game season, because the reality is you are not going to have 372 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions every game. There's going to be people that are kind of like, hey, is he as good as he is? Drake May's fine. Look, Drake May, the one play that he had yesterday down the left boundary, the touchdown, that was, I cannot tell you how good of a ball that was from Drake May. And the biggest thing for the Patriots is they won. So yeah, I would argue yesterday for the Patriots was a scare in a good way. So, all right, let's keep it going here. Let's see here. I'm going to go through a couple of other comments here. Somebody said, who's my MVP through week 9? I'd probably go. I feel like I'd go. I don't know. Should I save this for a video topic? No, I'd probably go Matt Stafford right now. Matt Stafford, Darnold's up there. Somebody asked about Darnold being in the MVP conversation, and he absolutely is. All right. Divine Comedy. Appreciate the super chat. Seattle's serious contender. They 100% are. Sammy D MVP. Yes. Well, he's in the conversation. Sam Darnold was on one last night. I was very happy to see from Sam Darnold. And one thing that I am also very happy to see, by the way, is I'm very happy to, and I'll get to the trade deadline here in a minute, by the way. I'm very happy to see like Sam Darnold have the success and then not have to sit here and defend and listen to, oh, you are jealous of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold made a business decision, man. I couldn't be happier for him. And the fact that he's lighting it up with Seattle, awesome. Couldn't be happier for him. 280 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half last night. 21 of 24. Awesome. Good for him. And, I mean, the connection with him and JSN, awesome. Torrey Horton, loved Torrey Horton. Loved him coming out of Colorado State. Also very happy with Elijah Arroyo as well. Couldn't be happier for the Seahawks. So Darnold definitely in the conversation after last night. I do agree that it would be Matt Stafford right now at the moment, but we'll see. All right. Let's see here. John Morton was calling some BS for all the talent the Lions have on offense. Lions seem to be very off on offense. Yeah, that was definitely a tough watch. I'll just kind of leave it at that. That was not ideal for the Lions last night, obviously, or yesterday. I mean, there was a lot of just straight up missed opportunities for the Lions yesterday. And that was one where I was very, very frustrated for Lions fans, but also like, hey, I mean, we got a game to win, and but it was also just outside of the first drive in which they were really getting the ball to Sam Laporta. It was, I just kept waiting for them to get going, and they never did. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, you do have to credit the Vikings defense for playing the way they did, but also within that, it was, yeah, I mean, just not a great game from John Morton. And there's a reason that fans want him gone. And quite frankly, I can't blame them for that said performance. All right. Let's see here. The Cardinals are so bad, they bring the rest of the West down with them. Definitely not the only team. Definitely not the only team or the only team in the NFL to do that with their division. The Cardinals, though, to me, they are so close to they have like their point difference is so close, and it's because they're not a well-coached team. So I do feel bad for Cardinals fans, all things considered. And quickly, by the way, because we did have a little stream crash out, if you could like the stream, it helps tremendously with the algorithm. And like I said, we're starting to pick viewers back up. So if you could like the stream, I would very much appreciate it. We did run into some technical difficulties this morning. But if you could like the stream, I would very much appreciate it. And let's keep it going here. Finally made your stream. Appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being here. And that's, yeah. I mean, yeah, appreciate it, man. I saw one comment here from Alexander. Hey, Titans, I have a head coach for you guys, Matt Nagy. He'll take your franchise even further in the gutter. Please take him away from the Chiefs right now. They already took your assistant GM. I'm doing my part. Shout out Rob. Let's see here. Likewise. Woomset says, what do you think about the Jalen Phillips trade? This is just Howie Roseman being Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is one of the best GMs in the NFL, probably the best GM, but he is the comp picks. The reason why I love this trade for the Eagles, and somebody asked about, am I going to do an NFL trade deadline live stream and all of that? I'm going to be honest, if the biggest player traded is, let me think of just somebody that everybody might know. That's a small player, but we'll just say if it's like the fourth corner from a bad team going to a good team, and it's a very lull trade deadline, like not a lot of things happen, then probably not. I don't think there's, a lot that needs to be discussed. Brees would be the opposite. Brees I would probably stream for like almost no matter what. I mean, I'd want at least one more player traded rather than try and talk about Brees Hall for 20 minutes. But if there's only like 2 or 3 players traded and it's just not active, then no, to answer that. But anyway, what do I think of the Jalen Phillips trade? It's awesome. The Eagles traded a 3rd round pick. They know that if he walks and then they basically do not sign if they basically don't sign another pass rusher, that they'll get a 3rd round comp pick for it. So it's a lot of ways like a rental for nothing. All you have to do is pay the salary. And I might have worded that wrong, but the point is the Eagles trade a late 3rd round pick. They'll get a 3rd round pick for Jalen Phillips eventually. You get the gist of what I'm saying. But anyway, the point is I love it for the Eagles. Whenever Nolan Smith gets back, you'll have Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. I mean, the Eagles are one of the best run teams in the NFL for a reason. So, good comment here, by the way. Good comment here. Shout out members of the stream being in here. And I'm gonna hold on here. I want to just get something. So for the members of the channel, I am doing a little giveaway. It's gonna be this week, and right now I have it scheduled for tomorrow at 8 p.m. So what I am giving away for the members of the channel is, this is in a bag. I'll take it out of the bag. But anyways, some members of the stream already saw it. I posted it in a members community post. And we're going to do some more giveaways, but the giveaway that I have for this month, I'm going to start to get into a lot more giveaways, is I have I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if we can see it. I think we can see it. It is a Jackson Smith-Njigba autographed jersey. So we're going to give it away, and can't wait to do it. So that's members of the channel. So appreciate everyone that is supported. And we'll get into more giveaways, I promise, as the season goes on. But the giveaways are all because of you guys and the support. So we're gonna do giveaways, I promise. But looking forward to it. So I just wanted to make that quick announcement, and we're gonna do some giveaways. Coming up. But as a Niners fan, I will not be wearing that. Good call. JSN's awesome. He is awesome. But all right. Has there been any football players? This is a good question here. Has there been any football players who DM you? So no DMs. If there is anybody that watched, if anybody that actually watches that's a player, I would love to hear. But I don't, none that I know of. I did interview Dolphins DB Ifeatu Melifonwu last summer. So he was the first player to be on the channel. I would always welcome players being on the channel if they wanted to have an interview, wanted to come on the channel. But right now, none that I know of. But if there, like I said, if there is a player, please reach out. Please DM me. I'd love to. I would love to. It would just be cool. It would just be cool to know. And also, by the way, I went down to the Senior Bowl last year, and on the way back, I sat next to the planes to Mobile are very small because Mobile's a very small, it's just a small airport, small town. So I sat next to somebody on the way out, and it was Donovan Ezeraku. So that was pretty cool. But that was pretty cool. But let's see here. Top three. Oh no, that Ifeatu is a kind of a Lions legend. Good call. Top three quarterbacks from the 2024 draft. I mean, Drake May, number one. I would say, Jaden and Bo, and then Caleb, JJ, Penix. But you with Bo's production, I feel you can't not include Bo. I feel like Bo gets a little, just, oh yeah, it's Bo Nix, and then just kind of tossed to the side. So Bo Nix, I feel like you have to include. But Drake May, Bo, and I would say Jaden. Appreciate this. Good morning. Appreciate it. Fun fact for the day, Caleb Williams had more receiving touchdowns than our first-round pick for a brief period of time. Oh, that is funny because Colston Loveland got his first 2 touchdowns yesterday. Good call. But Caleb, and my guy, Shepherd University, baby, curled horns up. Shout out, Agent Bajent. He had the completion yesterday, 1 for 1, 20 yards. Or was it 22? No, it was 20. It was 20 yards. My guy, Agent Bajent, came in. Agent Bajent came in slinging, so... always got to shout out Shepherd University. Always got to shout out the Rams. But that was awesome. Let's see. What do the Giants do at this point? This is a good question because, look, you're year 4 with Dable, and you started out 7-2 year 1. The last 3 years, 2-7, 2-7, 2-7 through 9 games. I mean, you could say what you want, but at some point you have to have results, and you can say, hey, we had Malik Neighbors go down. Hey, we had Cam Scatterbo go down. But if you want to have the scenario of, if Malik Neighbors is healthy and if Cam Scatterbo's healthy, does 4-5 instead of being 2-7 really make that much of a difference? And I ask that truly as nice as I can. Does that really make that much of a difference? I would say no, personally. But anyway. David, appreciate the super chat. He says, what's up? I know I'm late, but what happened with my Texans? CJ Stroud went down. It wasn't a dirty play. It just things happened so fast within the game. And the play calling for the Texans is also very bad, I would say, personally. And they're a team that right now is not maximizing what they can do. Not even close. So it's frustrating for the Texans, and right now the Texans are, I would say, a slightly better version of what the Falcons have going on. Just they're teams that could be a lot better, should be a lot better. Nick Haley is not a good offensive coordinator. Zach Robinson's not a good offensive coordinator. I think the Texans defense is, undoubtedly better than the Falcons. That's just me. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Derek Stingley, everybody they have. No discredit to the Falcons guys, more of credit to the Texans players. But just underwhelming. All right, let's see here. Key Park, appreciate super chat. Thoughts on the Steelers' defensive performance? Tremendous. 6 turnovers. It was a that was a just classic Pittsburgh Steelers football type game. That was just everything. And I'm very happy for the Steelers. They had I don't know if you guys saw this. They had a funeral for the Steelers defense in the parking lot before the game because of how bad they've been playing, which is very Western PA. It's very Pittsburgh. I love that. But they came to play. It was, Tomlin's an underdog. There's a game or two a year where Tomlin's an underdog. The Steelers have no business winning, and they do, and they dominated yesterday defensively, and good for it, man. Good for him. Very happy for him. All right. Let's see here. Can the Vikings make the playoffs? I feel like you just beat the Lions on the road. I mean, taking it game by game. I'm not definitively saying yes, 100% they are. That would be egregious to say. But can they? Yes, they can. And again, will they is a completely different question, but they can. What I would say is if the defense plays the way they did yesterday, and you actually have Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill, Andrew Van Ginkel actually play, then yes, they can. So, all right. Let's see here. I'm going to keep going here. Do you see the NFC North wide open at this point? I do. 100%. Yes. I do. Yes. Now, if I had to pick, I would still probably pick the Lions, but it's wide open. Anybody saying otherwise, I think it's wide open. You could also, Packers. I wouldn't choose the Vikings or Bears to win the division, but it is open. But I think that is going to wrap up today's stream, guys. So I want to just say wholeheartedly, I appreciate everybody bearing with the technical difficulties, and like I said, I cannot thank you guys enough. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 220,000 subscribers, and I just cannot say how much I appreciate the support. And I do want to say one other thing. Grading the 2025 draft class midway through their rookie year will be out Saturday. So, very much looking forward to that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. And I will catch you next time. And appreciate everyone being here. If you could like the stream on your way out, would very much appreciate that as well. And until next time, as always, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.